Hello. Welcome. My name is AyoT. You might know me from EaglesTracker, and my co-host is
Smith Layi.
yes, and this is episode 4 of the Naija FC Podcast, Naija Football Chronicles podcast, where we bring you exciting talk about everything with regards to Nigerian football. Thank you for all the love for the reception of the podcast so far. You know, it's been a pleasure chatting and serving you guys with content. Continue to follow us on our social media at Naija FC Podcast and continue to watch the videos, listen wherever you currently tune in from. Don't forget to subscribe if you're enjoying the show. Today we have another fantastic episode coming up for you where we're going to be discussing a number of topics. Of course, our main focus for this month has been on the Super Falcons and their exploits at the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup. So we'll kick off with that. We're coming off the back of a 3-2 victory over Australia. Fantastic win for the Super Falcons. And now they go into their final game of the group stage against the Republic of Ireland. You know, this is essentially a game that can stamp our best ever finish at the FIFA Women's World Cup as far as the group stage is concerned. If we're able to get a win, you know, to finish the group with 7 points, you know, no defeats. It's not something that normally happens for Nigeria in the group stage of the Women's World Cup. No defeats, and to finish top of our group. Let's quickly preview the game. Smitlaya, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts on the overall performance of the ladies so far in these two games, and what do you expect to see against Republic of Ireland?
Based on the last two games, they have actually what exceeded expectation. I can tell you. In fact, no confident Nigeria, except the coach, can tell you that the Falcons can perform this way. Especially the game against Australia. Even I listened to the podcast before the tournament that we need to get a result against Australia and against Canada. The Australian game might be, and we have to try and beat Ireland. So nobody ever thought that it can work out this way. Now we have a chance to top the group. No, nobody ever expected it. So top up to the Super Falcons performed well, and the Island game too. I think is going to be, it's going to be. I know we're still going to go into more detail about it, but about the Island game, I'm very confident about it that the girls can finish up the job.
Mm. You know, interesting one. And yeah, I would agree with you. There was little to no confidence from almost everybody. You know, the fans, the media, especially after the wahala between Randy Wardrum and the NFF. People thought that we're not going to be able to perform like this, but
Yes.
I'm very delighted for the ladies that they've been able to exceed expectations, and they are doing what a lot of people did not think was possible, and they might be able to now do something that has never been done for us in the Women's World Cup before. You know, finishing top of our group without losing any games. So talking about Ireland, Ireland of course are already out of the tournament. You know, they lost their first two games against Australia and against Canada. Difficult one. You know, they caused a lot of problems. You know, they played hard, but unfortunately ended in two defeats. You know, narrow defeats all the same, but you know, defeats is what matters at this tournament. You know, at the end of the day, going into this game against Nigeria, they have nothing to play for. You know, and sometimes they say that the most dangerous person is somebody that has nothing to lose, you know, because they can go out there, play without pressure, you know, just give their all and play hard. But when I also think about it, in my mind, I'm like, could that also maybe work in Nigeria's favor in the sense that the Irish would probably not want to finish the World Cup without scoring a goal, you know? So they might open themselves up a little bit more, you know, to try. Maybe we shall score one and maybe we not say we can't perform for this. Or rather, without, okay, they scored a goal, sorry, McCabe
He
scored
scored
against
a goal
Canada.
already. Yeah.
But
Yes.
without you know, yeah, but without, I mean, maybe say, okay, I say winning a game, you know, and they'll be like, okay, let's try our best to win this game against Nigeria. You know, in our previous episodes, when I also said that the same way Nigerians are looking at Ireland and saying that, oh, these are most winnable game, you know, the Irish will probably also looking at Nigeria thinking that it's their most winnable match. So they would love to show themselves. And also the fact that it's their last game of the tournament could lead to changes in their squad. You know, their coach might want to give minutes to some players that haven't necessarily had the chance to play in the first two matches of the tournament. At least you know it's not nice for anybody to just sit on bench throughout and not even get 1 second of game action. So I'm thinking maybe is there a chance that all these things combined could play into our hands a little bit and allow us to be able to win that game? What do you think about that?
So based on what you said about trying to put the best legs out, I think that the coach will still start with with our best leg. I can tell you that, but maybe probably in the second half try and bring some players in. I know the game is not going to be that hard game for us because in the second half, she would try and bring some players that have not got minutes in the tournament just to come and experience it. And we should actually what? To see how tournament looks like because I think the coach too is like that's the last game too. So she wants to live on a high and see
Yeah,
other players play so that he can. But for me, I think it's gonna be a very great game. Don't forget that Ireland played against Colombia, a very physical game in the pre-World Cup qualifier. The game was
yeah.
abandoned after 20 minutes. So to tell you that when it becomes so physical like that, they don't like it. So they might see a physical game too against Nigeria, but I still tip Nigeria to win. I even expect Coach Randy to try and adjust and bring in maybe Gift Monday in the second half, so that you might need him. You might need during the knockout stage. So just to
Mm.
get a bit of minutes too.
No, yeah, yeah, and I was even going to mention the fact that we have, I think, Alozie and Demey, and also
Yeah.
Oshwala, who are on
Yes.
one yellow card, going into this game
Yes.
against Ireland. Do you think the coach would make changes to our team? Like maybe would he bench Michelle so that she doesn't get a second yellow and miss the one of 16? Would he bench Demey? What do you think the setup would be like from the Waterman and the Nigerian side?
I think Randy, we have not secured qualification. So if you have secured one, or we're trying to maybe probably top the group, Randy can decide to bench players. But in this case, nothing is guaranteed yet. It's a World Cup match. You don't stand it. You don't stand. You don't start a World Cup game on the back foot. So, and looking at the Irish,
Mm,
at the Irish team too. If you look at their previous games, there's a way they play. There's a way they play. Our defensive partner must really work together in that game because the as striker they like to run down the channel, to run down the channel. So you have to be compact in that game. So I don't think he will want to alter the defensive pairing, but he will trying to
mm,
want them to be very careful of cards and don't just go into unnecessary tackles. I think that it will start. It will probably not start on Shuala, but I think that it will start the two girls on yellow card in defense. About Oshuala, from my own opinion, I think that she should start because the Ireland too they struggle with a long ball. When you just play a long ball from the middle, they struggle. They don't have really fast defenders. So you can see the goal they considered against Canada. The player was between like four players. She managed to get through between them and still score that goal. So I think that we need a sharp
yeah.
shooter like that, like Oshuala. Just wreck them in the first half, no noise, so that they can go and sleep in the second half.
Mm. I like how you put it there so that they can go and sleep in the second half.
Yes,
Okay, so looking at the Irish side, is there any player that you think the Super Falcons have to watch out for? I mean, we know that their key player in this tournament so far has been Katie McCabe, who plays
yeah.
for club football for Arsenal. But I think that one is fairly obvious. Even Coach Randy would of course have mentioned her name to the Nigerian players. They must have seen what she's done in the
Yes.
first two matches. But
Mm-hmm.
other than McCabe, is there any player in the Irish team that you think, we really have to watch out for and really have to be careful about?
It's only is it Sullivan? It's actually I think he's actually
Dennis
a
O'Sullivan.
midfielder. They get very yes, Sullivan. Yeah, very
Yes.
very good player too. But let's be honest with ourselves. You know, Ireland they don't have the personnel. They don't have the. I like the way the coach
Mm.
set a team up, but I can tell you, the Irish team doesn't have the personnel to to go find this tournament. They don't have the players to actually what really hurt us. Their main threat is actually their captain. So if the captain is not really playing
Mm.
well, then the team doesn't have any this thing. What they all they do is just to pack the bus. And apologies for our Irish fan listening to us, but I don't think they have any chance in this case.
Okay, okay. I mean, I would also say, maybe Farrelly, a forward that plays from the right,
Yeah,
maybe she can be
yeah,
a potential danger.
yeah.
I think she's done
Mm-hmm.
pretty decent in the first two matches. But yeah, other than that,
Yes.
it's mostly just been Kate McCabe. From our own
Yes.
point of view, I mentioned this when I spoke with the Irish Football Fan TV the other day. I think that we just also need to be wary of our defensive set pieces. We've
Mm-hmm.
considered one goal from set piece against Australia, but if I'm being honest with myself, there have been a lot of nervy moments. A lot of times that we're just shaky that any wrong bounce of the ball and we could have been conceding a goal. So I think that that's something that we just have to watch out for. She has a good left foot. She can deliver a good cross, and she can even score directly from a corner kick. We saw it against
Yeah.
Canada. So
Yeah.
it's something that I would say that we should just be wary of. Ashley Plumter and O'Halley would have to, put their heads on the line and definitely make a lot of headers in that game. The Irish team, they like to play through the flanks. They like to whip in as many crosses as possible and try to put
Yeah.
pressure on the defenses. Almost like they're just looking for you to make a mistake so that they can
Mm-hmm.
capitalize on something.
Yes.
So it's something that would have to be, we have to be focused on and make sure that we are concentrating for 100% of the game. From our point of view, the Nigerian team, we saw the last game. Uchenna Kanu started from the left, eventually switched to the right when she wasn't doing so well. Oshuala, like you mentioned, started from the bench. What changes would you like to see, if any, in the Super Falcons starting 11 for this game against Ireland?
I would like him to keep the starting 11. Now we know that Abiodun is not available for the game against Ireland. I would like him to keep the starting 11 because what I can see basically is that there's a gap, always a gap between the left center back of Ireland and their left wing back. If you can put
Hmm.
Ajibade there, they're going to be in trouble. There have been so many times that was it Ford that got into no it was Rosa that got into that position, but he misused the opportunity. So because
Yeah.
Morgan Connolly, not really Bassey. So if you look for a ball carrier to trouble her in that area, and her judgment too is not really good. Sometimes she just gets tempted. Sometimes go for the same ball with the midfielder. So I think that if we work on them, they might be taking five. They might be taking 5-0. You think I'm joking? They might be taking 5-0. So so
I love the confidence.
yes, yes. I think that it should keep the starting
I
level.
love.
We should be fine.
Okay, but question: you mentioned earlier that you wanted Oshuala to start, but now you're saying you should keep the starting 11. Oshuala did not start the last game now.
Yes, Ochoala can actually come in, but it depends on how the coach wants it. The coach might want to be conservative slightly in the first half and see how the Irish approach the game. That's why I said I might start the game like because the first starting lineup was like more conservative. Onumenu, if Yoma Onumenu was coming in, so it wasn't direct. But if you now bring Oshuala in like in a defense that is tiring, that is not even pacey, so they're gonna be in trouble. Don't forget that Kennedy was so good, but when Oshuala got in, she knew that she's in trouble in that game. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when you have Oshuala on the pitch, it doesn't matter which team we're playing against. She's a player that they have to pay attention to and they have to focus
Yes.
on because she can score quality goals and she's always a threat when she's in the side.
Mm.
I would say from my point of view, no offense to her, but I would like somebody else to start in place of Uche Nakano. I just think that even though she scored a goal in the important equalizer, not discrediting her at all against
Hmm.
Australia. She was having a rather poor game before that. And I think that, maybe this is even an opportunity for a player like Gift Monday to come into the side and show some quality that she might have. Um, I said it's on probably the first or second episode that we had that my only issue with Uche Nakano is just sometimes she's indecisive. If she has two, three options that she can use the ball with, she just never is really sure what to do. Whenever
Hmm.
she's left with no option, she's clinical and she's good. Like the goal that she scored, the only possible action there was to try to turn that ball into the goal, and she knew what to do. She finished it properly. But I find that when she's playing and then maybe she can either run and cross, or she can pass, or she can take a shot. Sometimes she's not really sure what she needs to do, and then the opportunity can get away from us. And then maybe it's just because it's the World Cup and she was a bit nervous. But in that first game, she just wasn't exciting me too much until she scored the goal, and of course, I was very excited. So I would like to see maybe a gift Monday. Let's see what she can offer now, and then hopefully when we get the result and we're able to go into the knockout round, we would have the confidence that if need be, she can help us. And also I say this because I really want Rashida to play from the left. I've said it multiple times, even on IG Live when we're discussing, and people were saying, "Oh, Rashida can play on the right." I told them no. I think you were on the live, and I said no. If Rashidat is there, she needs to play from the left. We saw it in that game against Australia when she switched positions with Kanu. She became more of a threat. She became more dangerous. Of course, they can always flip flop during the game, but I think 60% of the match, you want Rashida to be playing from that left hand side. And then
Yeah.
I think if Monday can play from the right hand side, so let's see what she has to offer. No disrespect to Odega, but I think Odega has to be on the bench. If Oshuala is starting, of course she should be our number 9. But if the coach doesn't deem her fit enough to start, then it could be worthwhile to see what the former Onumonu, gets to do. At some point, I would also like to see Desire Paranozie, a veteran for the team. At some point, I know she's been nursing an injury, but it would be nice even if 10, 20 minutes for us to see what kind of impact she can have in the squad. The
Yep.
midfield for me would remain the same even if everybody was available. Ucheibe and Ainde, I like their partnership. I like what Ucheibe does on the ball and off the ball. I like Ainde as well. And then I will agree with you. I don't think the coach and also myself, should be changing the defensive pairing at this point. We hope that the man is wise enough to be able to avoid a yellow card in this match. But even with that risk factor, we have to play the two of them together. I don't want to change a partnership that is working quite well. I think the player that I'm most afraid of getting a suspension has to be Michelle Alozie. We know the way she plays. She always plays hard. She enjoys a nice light tackle. So for me, I always say that Michelle and yellow card are like 5 and 6. 1 in 2 matches.
Mhm.
We expect Michelle to get a yellow card. She already has one in tournament. I honestly think that there's a good chance she gets another one. But with the knowledge of an impending suspension, if she does get the yellow card, especially in a round of 16 where it's not going to be easy, I really, really hope that she tries her hardest. If she does get a yellow card in this match, it should be a yellow card that she had no choice but to take. You
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It should not just be one silly tackle that she made. If she gets a yellow card, maybe she's taking one for the team, something that she had no choice. I'm hoping that she can do that. And of course, Chama Canada has to start in goal. All due respect to the other two goalkeepers, but there's no reason to mess with our goalkeeper at this point or at any point in
Yes.
the tournament. Really, let Chamaka get her game time. Let her do what we know that she does, and everybody will be confident. Okay. Any other thing that you would like to add with regards to what might happen in this game?
Yes, no, I think that's fine. I just want to point to Ushina Kanu too about her performance.
Mm,
She wasn't really helping Ashley Plunter when she was playing on the left. So I think the coach
mm,
might look at that too and see that, oh, if you're going to be playing against someone like Katie McCabe, you need help. You need help from that area. So I think I agree with you that Ushina might be on the bench, but for me, I just think that you don't change the winning team. So maybe the coach might want to try and go with the winning team. So, but I think with the Ireland game, I think they have been watching the game. They know what the Irish they can show what they are capable of doing, and you know that these type
mm,
of games are very tricky. That you don't underrate opponents. So I think that we should take it very easy. We've seen that this is like a final. So the best thing for us is to actually try and stay in Brisbane. I think it's going to be in Brisbane. Try and stay there so that we can call that place our home in the second round.
mm.
Yes.
Mhm. Amazing. Okay, and finally, to round off our preview of this game against Ireland, let's do score predictions. I'll start first before I put you on the spot. For this game against Ireland, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the Super Falcons. Fingers crossed, I would like Ajibade to get a goal. I think that's the only thing that was missing from her performance against Australia. So hopefully she can get herself on the score sheet in this game, and then maybe a goal from one of the defenders, maybe Ohale again or maybe Ashley Plumter, who knows. But I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for the Super Falcons. You've been saying 5-0 this thing. So what's your prediction if you had
My
to
prediction,
bet on this game?
I think I've got the first two wrong. The first one I predicted Nigeria to beat Canada. The second one I predicted that Nigeria is going to actually draw the game with one. So this time around, I hope I'm right. He said I thought I'm lucky. So I think it's going to be 3-1 Nigeria.
3-1 Nigeria. 3-1
Nigeria.
Nigeria is honestly what my heart tells me, but just I'm trying to use my head a little bit more than my heart. That's why I said 2-1. But
Yeah.
either result, of course, will take us top of our group. And as long as we get the W, I don't think anybody would really care what the scoreline
Yeah.
is.
I just want to
So
I
yeah,
just want to
hopefully
say
we can.
something. Sorry. I want to say something, sorry, quickly. In case
Yeah.
the coach sees this or any of the players sees this. The number 8, Little John, she's very sluggish on the ball. If she's isolated, they get it could be four against two. They get because they will be like the back line. He's always very sluggish on the ball. So if we can work on that, I think we can actually work. I'm just thinking about the game. I'm playing the game on my head and say, oh, it's going to be 3-1. That's why I wait for that.
Okay, and hopefully you are correct.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
gladly take a 3-1 win.
yeah, yeah.
Let's move forward a little bit. Let's look at probable round of 16 opponents. Now, of course, if we're looking at round of 16 opponents, it's because we believe that the Super Falcons are going to qualify from the group.
Mm-hmm.
Based on how the match schedule has been arranged by FIFA, we are going to face one of the teams from Group D. Either if we finish top of our group, we'll face the second place team from Group D. If we finish second in our group, which I don't want us to, we'll face the first place team from Group D. Now, for people that may not know, Group D contains Haiti, China, Denmark, and England. Haiti are already out of the competition, so it's really just China, Denmark, and England that are looking for the final two places in the round of 16. England are currently top of the group with 6 points. Denmark are second with 3 points, and China are third also with 3 points. Going into the final round of games, Haiti will be facing Denmark, while England will be facing China. My own opinion on this, for those final games in Group D, I believe that England will more than likely defeat China in that game, and Denmark would more than likely defeat
Do you think?
Haiti. Of course, football is not played on paper.
Do you think 80 is out? 80 is not
I
out of
mean,
the
technically, yeah, technically, yes, I mean,
mathematically. They are not out because
but
if
we know in if you lose two games in the World Cup, you're out.
yeah, if England beats
Yeah.
in the last game, if England beats China, which is actually what's more likely, and 80 now beat
Yeah.
Denmark, 80 can still by more than 2 goals. They can still progress, which is possible.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I see
Yeah,
what you're
even
saying.
by one
I
nil,
okay.
by 1-0 self, by one or
Yeah,
if
it is.
China does everything.
I don't think it's going to happen, but no, but you're
Yeah,
correct
yeah,
there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
for me, I think I'm really looking at England, Denmark, or China. Sorry for any Haitian that's watching this video. I'm really looking at those three teams. I think England will win the group. I think Denmark will probably finish second.
So,
So are you confident in our team that if we had to face either of England or Denmark, that we would be able to win and qualify for the quarterfinal of the tournament?
yes, as now, I monitor the group very well, and I realize that there's nothing special about England now. They are losing one of their best players in the tournament. They have not been playing well. They narrowly did not even concede the equalizer against Denmark. They were on the ground for so long against 80 that we beat in a friendly game. Remember, I know friendly is different. So I
Yeah,
don't think anything is
but
special about England. But the funniest thing is this: if we don't face them now, we might face them later.
mm,
Because the way the draw is going, I can see winner of Group G. We are in the same bracket with winner of Group
yeah,
B. So we still face maybe probably at the we're still gonna face maybe probably at the
quarterfinals. Yeah.
quarterfinal stage. Yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. So I'm not scared of
I
anything.
mean, no, I mean, I would also say I'm definitely not scared of any team. I tweeted, I mean, rather jokingly, but just like the comment you made when I was watching the Haiti against England match, I was like, no be Haiti where we knock be this way they pressure England. England still won the game, but it wasn't like some top level performance by the English by any
Yes.
means. And like you
Yeah.
mentioned, they're missing Kira Walsh, who is out with a knock. So
Mm-hmm.
I think they're definitely a team that we can take on. I would honestly rather avoid them at this stage and play them later. Let us advance a little
Mm-hmm.
bit more. Happy to face you in the later round, when we have no
Yeah.
choice. But for
Yeah.
now, I would like us to get the easiest possible draw. And
Yes.
no offense to the Danish people as well, but I think that Denmark would definitely be an easier draw for us than England. And against Denmark, I think my confidence will be raised even more. Believing that we can beat that side. I mean, they do have a very threatening striker in Penila Hada, so we shouldn't consider any silly chances against the Danish side. But overall, when I look at 11 against 11, I think that we do have quality, probably more than them. And we just really have to be organized and come together. One of the reasons why I don't really want to play against England is just because we have to be honest with ourselves. They are a more technical side than we are. They use
Yeah.
the ball a lot better than we do, and I just
Mm-hmm.
feel like you know that can be a potential for them to break us down if they are using the ball more. Trying to create chances. I mean,
Yeah.
look at the goal that Lauren James scored against Denmark. I mean, that's a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic goal. If somebody on our team scores that goal in this tournament, I'll be very delighted.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I don't know. Maybe it's just the high that we are on from these first two games, but the confidence is there. The
Yeah.
confidence is
I
just
think
there
so.
that
Yes.
the ladies can compete against any team. I mean, we faced Australia and Canada, we didn't lose, so the confidence is there that the ladies can face any team and can produce a
Yes.
good result. So I mean, I'm not going to make any predictions now. Let it happen. Let us qualify from the group yet. But those are just our
Yes.
two potential opponents. And then after we qualify, and then the draws are done, and we know who we're going to face exactly. We can now look at the entire bracket when everything
Yes.
has been settled from all the groups. And then maybe
Yes.
we now start looking, maybe now final with the rich. I've been a semi-final with the rich.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, let's just calm down a little bit. When the whole bracket has been formulated, then we can look at it. Any final thoughts on our potential round of 16 opponents?
Uh, I know that you think that I'm just thinking that something could happen between 80s and Denmark. And we now face 80 again in
Hmm.
the round of 16. But anybody that they
If we
bring.
face if we face 80 or more, I go there appeal. Maybe we face 80, I beg.
Me too, I'll be more happy than them because Denmark sometimes, there could be rush of blood. You consider one opportunity, but
Yeah,
80, you will play the same way. So I think that
yeah.
we overpower them. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So yes, I think we're about the halfway point of today's episode. So I'm going to do another quick plug. If you are watching and you'd like to purchase merch that I have on the Nigeria hoodie, the ET cap, or Nigeria phone case, whatever, you can always check it out on EaglesTrackerShop.com and get your Nigerian football merch, your Nigerian flavored merch, to show your pride and show your support for either the national teams or just to rep Nigeria because Nigeria never they carry last. Okay, let us move on to the other topics that we have for this episode. We're going to be talking about a number of transfers that have taken place over the past week or maybe even less than a week. You guys have been showing us so much love, so we've been giving you these episodes back to back. I've even lost track of how fast we are doing the
Mm-hmm.
episodes. But there have been a number of Nigerian transfers that have happened. I'll start with a move for a Super Eagles veteran defender. This is a player that won the AFCON for Nigeria in 2013, so we have to give him his kudos. He served us well. I'm talking about Kenneth Omeruo. He has just joined Kashim Pasa in the Turkish Super League, moving from CD Leganes, who were a side playing in the second division of football in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
He's going for a third time. You said earlier, third time lucky. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
this is going to be his best spell. But at
Yeah.
29 years old, moving from Leganes in second division of Spain to Kasimpasa in Turkey. What are your thoughts on this transfer? How do you think it play out?
The transfer is like a transfer merry-go-round. If you are going to a club for the third time, maybe you have some things to do there, which I would not like to mention on here. But it's like he's going back home. So, which is actually what's good for him. Maybe you never know, Seth. Maybe he's the owner of Kasim Pasa. You never know, but I'm just joking. Uh, so, we wish him best of luck. Going to Turkey, I don't like the move, but what can we say? We don't really know what happened between him and his agent. Maybe he had offers on ground or there is no offer. But
Mm,
what we can see basically is that he has moved to Kasim Pasa for the third time. So maybe that is then maybe it's going to be Kasim Pasa that's going to end his European football. We never know. But what can we say is that we wish him best of luck. One thing you cannot fault about Kenneth Omero is that anytime that we have issues in defense. When you call on Kenneth Omero, he always come and deliver. Don't forget the World Cup. When we had to play three at the back, he came in. The guy, he played three at the back. When there was a issue with Kevin Bassey and Kevin Apoguma, he came into the team to stabilize the team. So he has been very good. He understands the team very well. So what can we say than wish him best of luck? How is it?
mm. I mean, if Kashim Pasa are able to qualify for European football, then Omero must have really brought a lucky charm to them because they've not really been in that race in Turkey for the past few years. I mean, last season they finished 10th in the league, which
Mm-hmm.
is not great. Not poor but not great. And the season before that, I think they finished 11th. So they are a very mid-table side in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I've not been following all their transfers. Maybe they've been strengthening in other positions as well. But at the same time, like you said, there's only the only thing that we can really do is to wish him the best. He's somebody that has served us well. Even though a lot of people don't like him, like you mentioned, when he gets called upon to help Nigerian defense, he always does a good job. So congratulations to Kenneth Omero. We'll be watching you, we'll be supporting you. And we hope that you can really light up the Turkish league. Third time lucky, like Layi said. Hopefully that transfer ends up being a very positive one and he can shut up all the doubters and all the haters. Okay, let's talk about another transfer, which we spoke about on the previous episode before it was confirmed, before it was official. Now it has been made official, so let's touch on it very quickly. Samuel Chukwueze, 23-year-old Super Eagles winger, has completed a move from Villarreal in Spain in the La Liga to AC Milan, European powerhouse, the Giants club in Italy. And he's going to be wearing the number 21 jersey, playing in the same league as Ademola Lookman and, of course, our star player right now, Victor Osimhen. Now that transfer is official, what do you think about the move and how do you expect this to go for Samuel?
Yes, like I'm just happy that the transfer actually went over the line because I was having conversation with some people that the transfer is done. What we're waiting for is that make it pass medical. I said then they fail medical. One guy told me Akim Ziyech failed medical. I can't remember. I say it's true. Akim Ziyech to Saudi Arabia he failed medical, so maybe this one no fail medical. So and I'm happy that the move actually was it was Pioli that wanted him, the coach of AC Milan, and it's good that he got his man. So he'll be able to play. It's going to be like a direct replacement for Brahim Diaz. He can play three up front.
Mm,
What's it called? Chukwueze on the right. Maybe probably Noah Okafor or any of the centre forward up front. Then on the left is going to be Rafael Leao on the left. So it's a good flowing team, and we're going to be watching Chukwueze too. For Super Eagles, it's also good that most of them, the three of them, might likely be traveling in the same private jet coming to Super Eagles camp. Maybe that's going to be
Coming to Super Eagles.
it's coming to Super Eagles camp because I know Chukwueze and Osimhen will be together for most time because they've been very good friends too. So I can just only wish Chukwueze best of luck. He also is going to play in Champions League too. That's also very good, and we watch him regularly. I'm just hoping that they pair him with one of the Manchester clubs in the Champions League, so I can go and watch him in Manchester. Yeah,
Yeah, in
I wish
person.
him best of luck. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that would be an interesting one. I also think that is a good move for him. A step up. Some people might say that this is the move that we've been waiting for Chukwueze to make for
Mhm.
for some time now, and that's finally happened. Playing in the Champions League is definitely a plus. Playing in a tough league, the Italian Serie A, is going to be a good one for him as well. Physical league rather. But with the kind of skill that Chukwueze has, I think that yeah, we might be getting a lot of highlights from his dribbles, and what he'll be doing to some of the defenders in that Italian league. Because if you rush Chukwueze too much, if he embarrass you, he has done it to some top defenders, the
Yeah.
likes of Nacho, the likes of Alba. If you
Yes.
rush too much, Chukwueze, if he embarrass you. So I'm
Yes.
really believing that he can provide us with some quality highlights this season. Of course, he
Yes.
chose in number 21 jersey. A departure from 11 that a lot of people are accustomed to seeing him with. But nevertheless, nobody jersey where they play football. As long as the player is stepping up, people will buy
Mhm.
that 21 jersey and they would they would love him for it. So yeah,
Yes.
congrats to Samuel Chukwueze. We'll of course be watching him. We're wishing him all the best, and hopefully he can make the most of this transfer. And maybe in another 2 years, who knows? He can even be moving up to a bigger side.
Yes.
Okay, on to the next one. Premier League, Premier League, this league that Nigerians, back home watch so much. I mean, the most watched league around the world as well. And a lot of players aspire to play in. When we spoke about this player, I'm talking about Calvin Bassey earlier in the podcast, we were talking about the potential move to Brighton, but in a matter of a week or a week and a half, everything changed, the situation changed. And he didn't sign for Brighton, but he signed for Fulham FC in the English Premier League. Fulham is a side that, of course, is well known in England. They have become a mid-table side all of a sudden when people were expecting them to be more like relegation candidates. And Calvin Bassey has now been signed to shore up their defense. What are your thoughts on this transfer? How do you think it's going to go for him?
And no, the good thing is that he got the move over the line, and he's moving to London. It's like homecoming for him. Calvin Bassey goes home, like homecoming, good homecoming for him. Families and friends. He's going more. It's a city, the city that he knows very well. Easier for him to set down, to settle down. So it's a good move for him. Good move for him. And I went to the what's it called, Aya's comment section just to see when they said bye bye to him. A lot of them were not really happy, but some people were using some abusive language there, which I don't like to actually what to say on her. But it's good that he leaves. But the issue is this: it wasn't given enough time in Ayers, and that was sad. But Ayers too were not ready to even give him enough chance, because if a team is bringing 21 million pounds for you and they realize that it's close to how much we bought you, so I beg,
Mm.
so it's good for him. It's good for him. I just think that he should take this move as a new start. That it should know that this move is like one great opportunity for him to prove himself and relaunch his career, which I think that is going to take. London is very tempting. There's so many things in London. You have to be
Mm.
strong to live in London. So I hope that all
Mm.
those distractions will not be there for him to distract him. And I wish him best of luck. I think in few minutes too, he will make it his debut for Fulham.
Mm. I mean,
Yes.
I'm really hoping that he has a good time. I saw you're probably talking about the friendly against Chelsea, I believe. He's on the
Yes.
bench for that game, but
Yes.
ideally he should come on in the second half, and get some game time. This
Yes.
move, I think that he has potential to be a very good move for him. He can show
Yes.
himself at this top league in the world. If he does well, he will stamp himself as one of the best young defenders, and he might be able to finally lift the potential that we saw when he was playing for Rangers, just a couple years ago. I like the fact that he's playing under Marco Silva. Marco Silva is a
Yes.
very good coach. I was a bit scared that Silva was going to move to Saudi Arabia, but he turned down the deal. So this could be a good one for him. Like you mentioned as well, going back to London. In a city that he knows so well. In a
Yes.
country that he knows so well. I'm really hoping that the best comes for Calvin Bassey. I've always believed in his potential, and hopefully he can even take the form that he gets in the Premier League and transfer it to when he's playing for Nigeria, because we know he's not been the best playing for Nigeria so far. Because he's a young player that could easily be the future of our defense. I hope that everything works out very, very well for him. I wish him all the best in that one for sure. Okay. And then final transfer that I have on my list for us to discuss today is a Super Eagles winger. He's 25 years old, a dazzler. I'm on record saying that he's one of the most entertaining Nigerian players to watch since the JJ Okocha, the legend. I'm talking about Chidera Ejuke. This is a player that lit it up when he was in Holland, got a Super Eagles call up. I remember I was so happy back then when he got his call up. Eventually made a move to Russia before the whole war situation started, and he's just not had a great time since then. Not because of the war, but because of injuries and because of
Yes.
just other situations that have been happening. Last season he was on loan to Hertha Berlin in the German Bundesliga. It wasn't a season that he could have been proud of or that he could have been happy about. He was injured for almost the entire season with a knee injury, and then he came on he came back, and then when he came back, he just came back to join them and help them get relegated, if I should put it that way. So it wasn't a very good season for him. I'm sure that he will be hoping to get his career back on track, and that is probably why he has decided to join Royal Antwerp in the Belgian Pro League on a season-long loan from CSKA Moscow. I mean, of course, the FIFA rule is still in place that allows players to move away from Russian sides because of the violent situation between both countries. I would say I'm really happy about this move, because I think he's going back to a level that he has played at before. Speaking about when he was playing in the Dutch Eredivisie, I think the Dutch Eredivisie and the Belgian Liga, pretty much about the same level. He's of course joining the Belgian champions as well, so he's going to have quality teammates around him. Not playing in one of the worst teams in the league like how he was in Hertha Berlin. I think that he has a very good chance of putting himself back on the map, and putting his name back in the lips and the mouths of Nigerian fans, because he's really, really been away from the spotlight, away from action for quite some time now. We know he has ability to dribble on the ball. He has ability to score a goal from the left flank. But I think the one most important thing for him this season, he needs to stay fit. I think that is like the most important thing for him. He needs to stay fit. We've seen many players who had a lot of talent, had a lot of potential, but injuries just kept on getting the better of them. And unfortunately, we're never able to see them at that very high level that we thought they could. So I think that's the most important thing for him. Stay fit, contribute as much as he can to the team, potentially win another trophy with them. He's of course going to be playing alongside another Nigerian in Alassane Yusuf, who is a solid midfielder, fantastic option for the Super Eagles if they call him up. What are your thoughts on this transfer, and what do you think might happen for Ejuke in Belgium?
I think it's going to be a new start for him. And I think that Ejuke, as like you said earlier, that it's not been a very good time. With injuries, he's been unlucky with
Mm,
injuries. I remember that during the AFCON, before the AFCON, it was described to be something very close to JJ Okocha. But you can realize that things are not actually what really going well for him. But this move is like a new start for him. I wish him best of luck. I
mm,
wish him that I wish him best of luck. I know that he will take this move and relaunch his career. Maybe a better move can actually come out of this. We see. But I think I'm just hoping that he could get himself and perform well in Antwerp. Antwerp possibly will be playing Champions League. So I think that that's another platform for him too. But it's a loan, so it needs to. It's going to be performance based before they can actually even extend it
mm.
more or they sell him. So he needs to actually do it in Champions League. I wish him best of luck.
Mm.
Yes,
Yeah, I echo those thoughts. Opportunity to play in Champions League, play in Europe is definitely always a big one. Ejike is a player that I actually like quite a lot. So I'm really hoping that this thing works out for him and is able to stamp his foot as a quality player. I mean, he's 25 years old, so he only has so many years to be able to get that big move that he might
yes,
be looking for. So
yes.
hopefully, his performance lives up to it. I frankly don't think that even if they don't renew the loan, I don't think he's going to play in Russia again. He'll just keep
I don't
on
think so.
moving somewhere until
Yes,
until they eventually sell him or until his contract runs
yes,
out.
yes,
But yes, Ejuke, we're wishing you all the best. We'll be watching you, we'll be supporting you, and hopefully, you can get your career back on track and get to where you deserve and you want
yes,
to be. So
yes.
yes, those are the transfers that we had. Smitlayi, any final thoughts on all the topics and all the transfers that we just discussed?
I just wish our players best of luck. They should go and represent. This one is probably one of the most successful transfer window in Nigeria on Nigerian players, and
Mm,
we still expect some moves to go through too. A lot of us still expect
yeah.
Gift Urban to move. We expect Akko Adams to move. We still expect some few moves here and there, but I just wish them best of luck. All Falcons.
Mm,
By tomorrow, I expect to
mm.
be
And
celebrating
let
by
me
now.
let yeah. Let me ask you a question about the transfers just before we conclude. Of all the transfers that have happened so far, of course, like you said, we're still expecting some more to happen. Even Gift Urban played against KV Kotrick today. He scored a
Yeah,
goal in that match. And I
yeah,
remember that the commentary, they were saying that could this potentially be the last goal that we see
yes,
Gift Urban score in Belgium?
Yes.
So there's a good chance that he moves. I'm sure something is in the works.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, he has the same agent as Chidera Ejuke.
Yeah.
So something could
The
potentially be in
Boniface.
the works for him there.
Yeah.
Yes, but what do you think is the most exciting transfer that has happened for Nigerian footballers so far this
Victor
window?
Boniface to Bayern Leverkusen. That's actually what one of the best
Victor
move.
Boniface to Bayer Leverkusen.
Yes.
Mm. I
That's actually
think
what the
for
best
me,
move.
I'll probably say it's between that one, Boniface to Leverkusen, and maybe Chukwueze to AC Milan. One of those two take the top spot for me because I'm really rooting for Boniface. He's somebody that is my friend off the pitch as well. So I'm really, really hoping that everything can work out for him. And then Chukwueze, just because we've always seen so much potential in Chukwueze, and it's finally the time for him to show that potential at a very high level. So yes, those are all the topics that we had for you guys today. Thank you for staying with us. Today's episode, I think, is probably the shortest episode that we've done so far since we launched the podcast. But it's still just as interesting, if not even more interesting than the ones that we did in the past. Super Falcons, we are rooting for you, man. We, like Smith, like you said, by this time tomorrow we want to be celebrating. We're recording this on Sunday, and the game is early morning for us in North America and even in Europe at 11 a.m. On Monday.
Yes.
So we hope that by evening time we're celebrating our successful qualification for the round of 16, and then hopefully we get a favorable draw and we're able to move on. And
Yes.
like I said in my previous interviews that I did for other platforms, as a fan, I'm daring to dream that maybe the Super Falcons can do something that hasn't been done before. Final
Yes.
words before we end the show, Supply.
I just wish Falcons best of luck tomorrow.
Mm.
I wish them best of
All
luck
right. Thank
tomorrow.
you very much. Thank you for watching. My name is AyoT, and my co-host once again is
Smith Layi.
yes. Have a beautiful day, guys. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.
Bye.